Bring back in our friend Curran Bhatia. Curran, good to see you. Thanks so much for coming back and talking with us.
Thank you so much for having me back, guys. I know that Elon Musk versus Zuckerberg fell apart, so we can talk about one fight night instead, I guess, because we actually have that happening. So,
what's so interesting about these matchups tonight?
Stamp versus Ham. This is the main event. This card actually has 4 women's fight at the top of the card. I think that's historic. That's great that one championship is doing that. Women's fighting getting the recognition it's deserved for such a long time. Stamp versus Ham. Here's what you got to know. Stamp is going to become a 3-champion athlete in 3 different sports. So this would be MMA. She already has kickboxing.
And curling.
She already had curling. So let's make it 4 there. Muay Thai. This would be MMA. So that's a big thing. This is Stamp's quote. Can I read this to you guys?
Yeah.
She said, "There will be blood. I have prepared my elbows for her."
Whoa!
That's all you have to know.
This is some sharp elbows.
Has Ham said anything in response to that? Because that's scary.
She would say, "I have more blood."
Ham was like, "I'm gonna make a turkey sandwich out of her." When this
Ham said, "I prepared my whole life. Like this is my last fight." So Ham knows this opportunity, what it means for her. Ham, they've compared her to Vanderlei Silva, and they've called her Hamderlei Silva.
Ooh,
So you got the great nickname versus the great quote.
Yeah.
It's the main event. It's one fight night.
Well, can we talk a little bit?
What chance does Ham have at all for defeating Stamp in this?
No, Ham has a huge chance. You can't really blink in this fight. It's going to be action from the start. They're both very motivated. They're both very hungry. The thing about Stamp, you mentioned the persona outside of the cage and inside of the cage. That's the mindset you kind of have to have, right? If you want to be a multi-sport champion like she is, and she's going for her 3rd or 4th, if we're going to count
Curling. She's dominant in curling.
Yeah, it's not very well known. I'm glad that's great research.
I mean, if you thought she said stuff about him, you should hear what she said about the Sweden curling team. Your curling balls will be covered in blood when I'm done. Anyways, she said that. She said
it. No, absolutely.
I can't believe it.
So I think that's the mindset you have to have if you want to be a top combat sports athlete. And this is a great card, top to bottom.
Sundell versus Rodriguez. Talk a little bit about this one for us.
Yeah, so here's what you have to know about Sundell. She learned fighting when she was a young girl. She vacationed with her family in Thailand. So what do most people do on vacation when they're young, when they're kids, right? You're like, maybe go to the beach, eat. She was learning Muay Thai, learning to elbow people in the face. That's where she picked it up. And this has been a lifelong passion for her. She's taking on Rodriguez. Rodriguez is no slouch either. She took some time off after having a kid. Now she's back. She's hungry. So I'm looking forward to this fight. It's a Muay Thai World Championship. So it's another great matchup between 2 hungry, motivated fighters.
But see, Alicia Rodriguez, we saw her destroy Janet Todd in a fight a few months ago in March. With Smilia coming back, is there any fear here that maybe she's unprepared to take on someone who has been recently fighting at the level that she has been fighting?
Well, there's definitely going to be some sense of fear because Rodriguez is moving up in weight. She's the smaller fighter. So whenever you're moving up in weight, that's going to be a tough situation. You mentioned Stamp. Here's what Stamp said about Sundell. She said she's not human. She's a machine. That's so if you get that endorsement from Stamp, I mean that's everything.
I just want to point out again, this year One Championship is doing a thing where they're bringing 4 more matches into America. Stamp, and I know we're harping on Stamp a lot, she's built for this.
Yes.
I think Americans are absolutely going to fall in love with this person. She talks like a Kelsey brother. Like she out there, like she's trashing people. She has all that stuff.
That's fair. Do you think she's going to have someone watching in the stands, like a well-known pop star, to kind of hear that?
Yeah. Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh, really?
And Timothy Chalamet. Thruple?
Well, then you'd have to have Kylie Jenner in there because that's who he's with. Right?
You know who she has to sign with? Kris Jenner. I want to see Stamp in the Kardashian universe somehow.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Top of the Equalizer, the rubber match. Not the rubber match. The rubber match is if
the rubber match is if there's 3. This is the rematch.
This is the rematch of it. Who do you think has the edge here?
Well, I think Danielle Kelly is going to be very hungry in this matchup because she wants to avenge that loss. The one thing that Kelly has is she's been more active in one championship. This is Khan's first time in one championship. But Khan comes in with the motivation saying, hey, I've already beat you once before. I can do it again. Danielle Kelly, she's been lighting up the world with her style in grappling. So it's a great matchup. I actually think Kelly is going to be more hungry to get that win, to right that wrong.
I don't know, because I feel like Jessica Khan, coming into one championship, Danielle Kelly has already said she does not deserve to be going for a title match because it is her first fight and I've been here. I feel like Jessica has more to lose. Therefore, I think she's going to be a lot hungrier in this. But is the transition from the league that she was in to one championship, do you think that that's going to affect this game at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's not just the competitors, right? Now, you are facing a higher level of opposition in one championship, but it's about the bright lights of one. If you've seen these shows get packed in these arenas. It's a whole different world. You have interviews to do. You have different schedules. The whole thing is different. So I think that can make a big difference.
That's a good question about that. You know, famously, Colorado before the Oregon game was playing music. You know, a lot of bands, right? There's a joke now that Northwestern's turning off their music to, you know, deal with the fact that there's going to be lack of music at their next game. When it comes to Jessica going into one championship for the first time, is there anything special that her trainers do to kind of prepare her for the fact that she is going to be on her biggest stage to date?
I think they should be preparing her for the distractions, right? And I think there's different ways to do that. Sugar Ray Leonard used to do a full fight with judges, refs, just to practice walking out to the ring, just to do all things like that. So I think that's a good tactic because it's not just about competing in there, but it's about the before, the after, all the mental load of doing interviews, things like that. And that's what she's going to have to face here.
Curran, while we still got you, any other matchups you're really interested in watching for us to keep an eye on this weekend?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, there's 4 fights, all women's fights at the top of this card, and that's really exciting. The fourth one is actually featuring Wonder Girl, and I'm really excited about seeing her back in action. Wonder Girl, her mom said, "Why don't you go into modeling?" She said, "Muay Thai is easier." So that's all you have to know about. That's all you have to know about her mindset,
That's
right? She
something.
lives for this.
Yeah.
She's sisters to Supergirl. They've been dominating in one championship, so I'm excited to see her tonight because obviously you just take it by that quote. This is what they love to do. This is what they were built for, and you love seeing people compete like that.
Are there any kind of influence or any kind of like fighting styles that one championship doesn't do right now that you think would work really well with American audiences?
I think they could tap into boxing because boxing's obviously having a moment with influencer boxing. We see Jake Paul. Jake Paul was quoted at the Republican debate the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that. So, but you have to give influencer boxing its credit because people are watching. People are paying attention. So you could add boxing under your umbrella if you want to tap into that world and get a new set of eyeballs.
I want to see Mikey Musumeci choke out the Paul brothers, okay? That is what I want to see. And with that, we got to go to commercial break. We'll be right back with more Sports Talks Game Breakers here on Prime Video. One Fight Night 14 tonight, 8 p.m. Prime Video. Watch it, Stamp, Danielle. A lot of luck out there, Curran.
Good job,
See ya,
Curran.
We'll be right
everybody.
back. More